Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel, where we meticulously examine the intricate dramas unfolding within the world's most famous families. Today, we delve deep into the increasingly turbulent waters surrounding Sarah, the Duchess of York, more commonly known to the world simply as Fergie. The situation, already fraught with tension and public scrutiny, has taken a decidedly darker turn in recent weeks, following the devastating exposure of her communications with the notorious, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. What began as a persistent pattern of financial difficulties has now metastasized into a crisis of reputation and solvency, pushing the Duchess towards what sources suggest could be some truly desperate and ultimately public decisions. Before we fully immerse ourselves in this unfolding narrative of financial desperation and royal entanglement, please take a moment to show your support. If you appreciate our detailed, in-depth analysis, do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support ensures we can continue bringing you these comprehensive reports. The foundation of this current upheaval rests squarely on the shoulders of the leaked emails. The simple fact that Sarah Ferguson, a figure still intrinsically linked to the British royal family, was engaging in correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein, even following his initial legal troubles, has proven to be a catastrophic blow to her standing. The public relations fallout has been immediate and severe, effectively severing the last viable commercial lifelines the Duchess possessed. A source, the very individual responsible for bringing these damaging revelations to light, recently spoke candidly to the reputable news outlet, Radar Online. This insider offered a stark assessment of the Duchess's historical relationship with money, and crucially, her current predicament. The source was unequivocal, admitting, "Sarah has never been shy about enjoying a lavish lifestyle. She spent generously, and there was usually someone willing to cover the gaps." This statement encapsulates decades of media coverage surrounding Fergie, a history marked by large debts, ambitious ventures that often failed to materialize, and a seemingly endless need for capital to maintain the standard of living she had become accustomed to during her marriage to Prince Andrew. For years, despite scandal and divorce, there was always an unspoken, perhaps informal, safety net. Whether it was the remnants of her royal connections, the loyalty of her ex-husband, or the willingness of wealthy associates to invest in her brand or her charitable endeavors, the gaps were consistently filled. However, the source warns that the connection to Epstein, now dominating headlines globally and casting a long, dark shadow over her public image, has utterly annihilated that historical financial buffer. The source confirmed chillingly that safety net has pretty much disappeared now. This vanishing support structure is occurring simultaneously with another major, symbolic, and financial upheaval concerning her former husband, Prince Andrew, the disgraced Duke of York. For many years, the Duchess and the Duke maintained an unusually close post-divorce relationship, famously cohabiting at the sprawling, picturesque residence known as Royal Lodge, located within the Windsor Great Park. This arrangement, which offered her stability and proximity to the royal core, is now dissolving. Prince Andrew himself is being relocated. Crucially, the move is not merely physical, it represents a significant change in financial provisioning. Andrew will be moving to a privately owned property. This new arrangement signals the king's complete separation of Andrew's finances from the public purse. The property will be funded entirely by the king's private income, rather than utilizing taxpayer pounds. While this move directly concerns Andrew, the ripple effect on Sarah Ferguson is profound. The Royal Lodge arrangement provided her with an unparalleled, highly protected, and essentially free residence. Its loss, coupled with Andrew's increasing isolation and the shift away from publicly funded support, leaves the Duchess of York facing a financial landscape she hasn't encountered in decades. With the security of Royal Lodge and the historical comfort of easy access to funds now firmly in the rearview mirror, the same insider claims that the Duchess is grappling with a completely unfamiliar reality. She is dealing with financial insecurity for the first time in years, the source asserted. This sudden and acute pressure to generate substantial, reliable income has led her to explore the most dramatic and potentially lucrative path available to her, the publication of a tell-all memoir. The source suggests that Fergie views a memoir as the most reliable way to steady things. But this isn't just a desperate grab for cash. It is reportedly a calculated decision based on the tangible assets she possesses. What makes this potential memoir far more dangerous and possible than previous attempts is the reported existence of a personal archive. The source elaborated that the Duchess has meticulously held on to journals and papers from those years. We must pause here to consider the chronological scope of those years. They encompass her rapid introduction into the royal family, her marriage, the intense media scrutiny of the late 1980s and early 1990s, her divorce, and the subsequent years navigating post-royal life and dealing with recurrent debt crises. This period is rich with material that remains largely undocumented from her first-hand perspective. The insider confirms that based on the depth and breadth of these personal records, the Duchess is convinced that what she has could secure a major payout if she decides to put it out there. The financial imperative driving this decision is growing exponentially. A separate, highly placed source offers a grim warning that this memoir might materialize much sooner rather than later, driven by the complete collapse of her commercial viability. There was a time when companies and charities were eager to align themselves with her, the source explained, detailing the days when her royal title, even after divorce, still carried significant weight and opened philanthropic and commercial doors globally. But that has shifted, the source continued, painting a picture of rapid professional abandonment. The offers, the events, the benefits, they have all quickly disappeared as quickly as her and Andrew's titles and home. This is the crux of her immediate crisis. The market has rendered a definitive verdict on her current reputation. The source concluded with a devastating assessment of her current brand value. She's not viewed as a reliable choice anymore by groups that previously sought her out. When the well of corporate endorsements, speaking engagements, and charitable patronage dries up completely, the financial pressure becomes insurmountable. This crisis has reached such a critical point that an insider warns the Duchess is beginning to set aside the deeply held loyalties that have defined her relationship with Prince Andrew for over 3 decades. The priority has shifted entirely. She is growing desperate, focused solely on creating a sustainable financial cushion, a safety net she can rely on that is independent of royal favor or commercial endorsement. This pursuit of financial security comes with a caveat that suggests a potential betrayal of the highest order. According to the outlet, she is pursuing this path no matter what it does to Andrew. This is perhaps the most explosive detail in this entire saga. Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew have maintained a remarkable, if unconventional, relationship built on mutual support and secrecy. For Fergie to contemplate exposing potentially damaging information about their shared life, their relationship, and Andrew's own conduct during their cohabitation years, all in the name of financial survival, signals a dramatic and unprecedented break in their long-standing alliance. A tell-all memoir, particularly one drawing on intimate journals, would almost certainly contain details that could further complicate Prince Andrew's already precarious position and public standing. The incentive for such a dramatic shift in loyalty is not abstract. It is directly measurable in dollars and cents, thanks to a recent high-profile publishing success. According to a source operating within the publishing world, the Duchess has been keenly observing the immense financial and cultural impact of other royal narratives. She saw what Harry's Spare did, the publishing source noted, referring to the hugely successful memoir by Prince Harry, which broke sales records and generated intense global conversation. The success of Spare demonstrated unequivocally the gargantuan appetite the global public has for unvarnished first-person accounts from within the royal family's inner circle. This success validates a fundamental commercial principle. She knows there is an appetite for royal storytelling told from the inside. But beyond the commercial viability, the source suggests that Sarah Ferguson views this not just as a financial transaction, but as a necessary personal completion. She believes that despite her many books, her career, and her public life, her true history, the full story of her time as a royal, a mother, and a survivor remains untold. The source concludes that she knows her story is unfinished. The potential material she holds is significant. Journals from the period surrounding her divorce, her infamous toe-sucking scandal, her attempts to forge a career in America, and her continuous, complicated proximity to the disgraced Prince Andrew would be gold dust for publishers. The narrative potential is vast, offering an opportunity to complete the historical record from her own perspective, while simultaneously achieving the major payout she desperately needs. The calculation is clear: loyalty to an increasingly isolated and publicly condemned ex-husband versus the solvency and security of her own future. As the pressure mounts from the loss of commercial backing, the collapse of her safety net, and the forced departure from Royal Lodge, the scales appear to be tipping rapidly towards self-preservation. If the Duchess of York does proceed with a tell-all memoir based on her private journals, it would not merely be another celebrity book. It would be a seismic event in royal history, potentially rivaling the revelations contained within Spare. It would force a reckoning not just for her own financial history, but potentially for the private life of Prince Andrew and the monarchy's handling of both their subsequent scandals. The coming months will be critical. Will Sarah Ferguson be able to find a temporary financial bridge to avoid this ultimate betrayal? Or will the weight of her accumulated debts and the evaporation of her support system force her hand, leading to the publication of a memoir that could expose decades of royal secrets and permanently shatter her already delicate relationship with Prince Andrew? This is a story of high stakes, loyalty-tested, and the enduring power of royal narrative. We will continue to monitor every development closely. Now, dear viewers, we turn the question over to you. Given Sarah Ferguson's current financial straits and the overwhelming commercial success of similar royal narratives, do you believe she is justified in publishing a memoir, even if it means exposing private details about Prince Andrew? Or do you think loyalty should prevail, regardless of the financial cost? Let us know your thoughts and ethical considerations in the comments section below. We value your insights and appreciate you joining us for this deep dive into the Duchess of York's precarious situation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next celebrity update and detailed analysis. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to reading your comments.